What's up guys, welcome back. So today we're taking a look at what I think are the top 5 best Hunter ultimates in Smite. As always, this is personal opinion, so don't take it to heart too much, but I have talked to a few other people about it to get some different perspectives and angles on it, but let's get right into it with number 5. Blazing into the number 5 spot, we've got Ullr's Sunbreaker ultimate. This ultimate in a vacuum doesn't seem all that strong, but when you combine it with the rest of his kit and other synergies, it becomes much easier to see why it's on my list. You can mark a target you want to go in on, making the ultimate slow for 40%, and then allowing you to drop the stuns on them, stun them inside the area with Ricochet, and you could even follow that up with a knockup from Dive Bomb as well if you want to keep them in the area for a long ass time, resulting in a pretty huge amount of damage coming out of this ability. It's not only useful in a 1v1 scenario like that though, it's a really solid teamfighting ultimate due to its huge area CC it can provide, and it can often block off entire pathways from enemies, making it a great zoning tool. It can even secure or burst down objectives pretty quickly, given it could do over 1,000 base damage with high scaling as well if a target gets hit by all 9 of the suns. Overall, it's just a very versatile ultimate, and it's useful in so many different ways, like 1v1s, teamfights, objectives. It's just good at everything, to be honest. So that's why I had to include it on my list. Taking my number 4 spot is Kernunos' ultimate, the Wild Hunt. This ultimate had to make it onto my list purely for the CC effect that it has. Like, the damage on the ability is nothing crazy, but the polymorph CC effect is one of the strongest CCs in the game, as it stops all abilities and basic attacks for the duration. If you can land this on multiple people in a team fight, you either force a ton of purification beads, or you just straight up win the fight, as the enemy can't respond other than running away for an entire 2 seconds. The one thing that stops this ability from being higher on my list is the fact that it can be difficult to hit due to the relatively long cast time. People can sometimes jump away or just move out of the area. But if you can land it on multiple people, this ultimate can just win team fights on its own. Even after the myriad of nerfs this ability has received since its release, it's still one of the best team fighting and control abilities out of all of the Hunters, which is why it takes my number 4 spot. Speaking of team fight CC abilities, at number 3 I've got Cupids Fields of Love. This ability has the largest AoE of any ability in the game, joint with a few others like Odin Ultimate, and it can provide an enormous amount of CC in team fights. Not only does it have a huge slow and cripple field, rendering people unable to escape, if they are kept in the area, they get mesmerized for 1.5 seconds on top of that, which increases to a massive 3-second mesmerize with the passive at full stacks. Granted, it's only a mez and not a stun, but the sheer amount of CC this ability provides is pretty insane, especially for a Hunter ability. This ability isn't only for CC though, it does pretty respectable damage with 540 base and 100% scaling. The damage goes even higher with his passive as well and provides a pretty huge amount of burst and an easy confirm for the heart bomb because they can't jump away, allowing him to get off an enormous amount of AoE damage in teamfights. I feel like people don't respect the power level of this ability because Cupid's kit is kinda weak, but don't underestimate this ability. It can certainly do a ton of work in teamfights and even in a 1v1 scenario with its high damage in CC. Taking the penultimate spot on the list, it's Artemis' Tusky, or the Caledonian Boar. This ability can swing a fight like no other Hunter ability can. It provides such a huge swing in the balance of a fight with great damage and up to a 1.5 second stun that's near instant after the boar comes out. It's super hard to dodge the boar in a 1v1 scenario, and getting stunned for 1.5 seconds and taking 500 plus damage is super hard to deal with. But this ability can also stun multiple targets in a single fight. Granted, it can be killed and likely won't hit an entire team, but just hitting 2 or 3 people with this ability can absolutely demolish a team when combined with Artemis' already high damage with her auto attacks. The 3 seconds of CC immunity on this ability is often underestimated as well, I think. A lot of Hunters don't even get CC immunity at all from their ultimates, but Artemis gets a full 3 seconds of it while still being able to move about and use her other abilities. Similar to Cupid, Artemis is kind of a weak Hunter, but don't let that fool you into thinking she won't fuck you up with this ultimate. So before we get to the number 1 spot, I'm going to give a few honourable mentions to Medusa's Petrify, Neith's World Weaver, and Rama's Astral Barrage. Petrify can be hard to use effectively, but when it does land, it can be devastating to a teamfight. Neith's World Weaver is often used incorrectly, but when it's used right, it's pretty damn strong. And also, Astral Barrage just does insane amounts of damage from super far away if you can land it accurately. And taking my number 1 spot for the best Hunter ultimate overall is Jablanki's Darkest of Nights. Now, before any of you start reading at me in the comments supporting an ability that does no damage as the best Hunter ultimate, just hear me out. The obvious part of this ability is the blind and the potential stun. This impacts the fight more than a lot of people give credit for, I think. Not being able to see anything coming your way makes it way harder to dodge stuff, and also near impossible to accurately land abilities and auto attacks from far away. Plus, this ability either stuns or makes someone stand still for a short duration, both of which can be pretty impactful to a fight. Like, even if the stun doesn't land, the blind and the movement restriction are both great to have in a teamfight. But this ability doesn't just debuff enemies, it also buffs Xbalanque himself with extra basic attack range. The base value for ranged basic attacks in Smite is 55 feet, and this ability provides an extra 40 feet on top of that, making him able to hit from super far away in teamfights with his very high damaging auto attacks. This also provides him up to 60% movement speed for 3 seconds, which is actually pretty insane when you think about it. Like, he can chase people down insanely well with the extra movement speed combined with the extra auto attack range. While Xbalanque isn't exactly top tier right now, his ultimate definitely is, which is why I guess my number one spot for the best Hunter ultimate in Smite. And that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like and subscribe if you want more of this type of content in the future. And leave a comment letting me know what Hunter ultimate you think was the best personally. It'll be good to have a few different opinions in the comments other than just my own, but that's about it. See you in the next video. Peace out, nerds.